broadcasting on paranormalmagazine.com. Also broadcasting on Project Reveal. And not forgetting the people on YouTube, Ghosts of Britain. Let's get this show started. Hello everyone, my name's Lee. I'm the founder of Paranormal Magazine, and I'd like to personally thank you all for tuning in today on Project Reveal, Paranormal Magazine, and the YouTube channel Ghosts of Britain. And I have with me Femme Force. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone what you're about?
Sure. Hey everybody, I'm Cindy Harper. I'm the founder of Fem Force, and I basically am on a journey and adventure to try to find as much unknown and unexplained activity that I can find, and then try to attempt an explanation for it.
Sounds good. So, Femme Force, why did you choose that name?
Well, actually, I didn't choose it for myself, but it was so catchy that I kept it. So what happened was I usually investigate, of course, there used to not be a lot of females in this field. So I was typically the only female that was on an investigation. So, I am kind of known for my extreme investigating, and I'm not very scared of too many things other than spiders. And so when we would go to these locations, a lot of times something would happen and everyone would go running out, and I would just be like just in there by myself. And I was the only girl. Everybody else went out running, screaming, yelling, whatever. And there I was by myself, the only chick in the whole building or the whole location. And they're all like, where's Cindy? And then after a while they started joking around saying, oh, the Femme Force, because that, the female force. So they started calling me the Femme Force. So it was just, it was like kind of like a joke at first, just being funny because I was the only female, but it just kind of caught on. So then after that just kind of became my nickname. So everybody was just like, oh, the Femme Force. Hey, call the Femme Force, something happens, call the Femme Force,
That's pretty
so
funny.
Yeah, it was actually kind of, catchy. And I thought, you know what, that's kind of a funny, catchy name to use. So it just kind of stuck. Everybody called me that anyway, so I might as well just go with it.
That's fine. So actually going back on what you said in that introduction, that you said that females aren't really recognised much within the field, and I would totally respect that as well, because all these TV shows, they're mainly men. You probably only see one female in the team. How do you feel about that?
I feel like, obviously I'd like to see more females, in the limelight, in the spotlight, to basically promote progressive, female presence. But, it seems like that hasn't been the case. So I don't really blame anybody, in particular. I think it just so happens that, people get shows, because of, their talent or their mix or whatever it is they've got going on. But, as a female, it is kind of frustrating because, sometimes I do feel like I'm not taken as seriously, at first, especially if somebody hasn't investigated with me or, been on locations with me and whatnot. But usually after I have, went and accompanied someone, I have no problem getting respect from anyone, which I greatly appreciate, But for the most part, I would like to see more females, take a serious interest and actually try to promote, class, intelligence, actually bring something to the table. And, sometimes I think that some of the shows where the females are not dressed, as full, which I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not
like a Saturday night out.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of makes me wonder, because I'm thinking, I don't know how in the world you're investigating those high heels, because I'm going to be falling through those cracks over there. It's like, okay, I don't get that. But, I would like to see more female, investigators focus on actually investigating and learning and, being knowledgeable than, just focused on what they're wearing and, kind of showing up as the token female. You know?
Yeah, that's
So,
actually true because it feels like we've kind of lost the way. It's so to speak. It's like everyone's got to have a certain uniform. They've got to look cool. They've got to have like Swiss Army jackets something
yeah,
like that for to look and to stand out. Yeah, it's just and I do think that sometimes people may get chosen purely because of looks, uh, but I'm not quite sure. What would you make of that?
yeah, I agree on that. Especially, and it seems to be, for me, I notice it more with females because there's not very many females. So, the ones that I have seen that have, kind of not all of them, but some of the ones I've seen in like groups, it seems like they're kind of scantily clad, not so much prepared for an investigation, and it's like I don't know how that works, but okay, they whatever whatever floats their boat. I don't know how they can investigate some of those places, but and then again, I'm also kind of more of an extreme investigator. So I'll crawl into the little dark holes and everything else, and
Yeah,
I do a lot of things that even some of the
I
guys
was
I
going to actually say, what is an extreme investigator? Because I noticed you said that.
well, at first, I mean, I really didn't call myself that because I was kind of like, I'm not really sure what that is. But after a while, I kind of kept getting called that, and I was like, I asked somebody once, I was like, why are you calling me that? I don't understand. And they were like, well, number one, you'll go to these places by yourself. You have no problem. You'll just go in, crawl in these little tight spaces. You'll go climb down these deep wells. You'll pretty much go wherever. You climb in the morgue. You don't care. Whatever. You'll just do it. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not really that extreme, but of course, I'm not going to do anything that's that I think would not be safe, as in
Yeah,
basic safety.
yeah,
But I do more than I guess what your typical person would do, and I'm more edgy. I'm kind of like a daredevil.
yep.
So when you say, "Oh, you won't do that," that's it's guaranteed that I'm going to do it. And I mean there are exceptions to that, but for the most part, like I was working with live sci-fi, and I had never used a Ouija board before. And he had asked me beforehand. He was like, "Well, are you willing to use the Ouija board with me in the basement?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't really believe in Ouija board. I mean, I just don't really believe.
Yep,
I feel like there's a lot of room for people to make things up with them. And I know that sounds terrible, but that's really how I
I
believe.
totally agree.
So yeah, so it's like I was kind of like, that's kind of it's not really my style. But he's like, well, just will you try to help me with it? And I said, okay, that's fine, whatever. I'll try it. So me of all people, for the first time I've ever used a Ouija board, was in the basement of this alley house. So I mean, a lot of people were like, what is she doing? So I don't know. I mean, I really didn't. The Ouija board doesn't have a big effect on. I
Yeah,
really didn't feel anything.
yeah.
Majorly intense. Now the actual location, yes, but not. Not just using the Ouija board. It wasn't. It didn't scare me.
Yeah,
You know.
I'm not a big fan of Ouija boards. There's just too many factors what can play into consideration. Like it could be uh, your subconscious mind. It could be the environment, what's playing on your subconscious mind. If you've got quite a few family members around you, around this Ouija board, then everyone's subconscious mind would be thinking possibly of the same person or of the same thing.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that the idiometer effect. I really do think that's definitely a possibility for just moving your arms and hands and whatnot. I do think that all the energy, everything kind of comes into play on that,
Yeah.
and I think there's just too much room for people to use their own influence, their own personal influence. Now, do I think that it works for some people? Yes, because I have been in around it where it was used, and the people that were using the board, um, they didn't know me at all, other than just hi Cindy, whatever. And I didn't believe. I thought it was a bunch of crap. I was like, oh, this is so kooky,
Yeah.
and this is when I was, in high school. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. This is kooky. This is goofy. You guys are crazy. Whatever. And I was like, well, then ask it what my middle name is, and because I knew that they didn't know,
Yeah.
and so I was like, yeah, just what's my middle name then if it's so cool, and it spelled out my middle name, so that pretty much freaked me out. So I have no idea how to explain that. So, once again, that, spurred my interest in it. So I do think there's probably something to it.